Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I'm your host, Wayne Holloway, and thank you once again for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. And like always, if you want to see something on our show or you have a bright idea that you want to see us implement on the show, drop them in those comments below or hit any one of our social media outlets. Holler at us, we holler back. But we got a juicy show for y'all today. But first, let me introduce you to my co-host, and he goes by the name of Mr. Patrick Nagel. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Hey there, sports fans. How's it happening?
Oh man, it's been a beautiful. How was your week? How was your weekend? I should say.
You know, it's a busy sports weekend. A lot going on. I mean, between basketball and fighting, opening weekend of baseball, lots happening. Lots of good stuff happening. Hockey, getting ready for playoffs, gearing up.
Yes, sir.
That's what keeps everything exciting, right? You know, we always got something to look forward to in the old sports front.
Yes. Can I see how did your bracket hold up?
Well, as well chronicled, it didn't. As everyone knows, Duke was bounced out of the tournament, lost a 20-point lead, and coughed it up to UConn.
How did you do this to my bracket? My bracket was 95.4%. How did you do that to me, Duke? You were the for sure.
Well, I think this would be a great time to remind everyone out there in the sports world that these are 18-year-old kids, and they're put on the big stage, and one of the best players in the game made an error. With 4 seconds left, he didn't need to make the pass. He could have just held on to the ball. Time would have ran down. They would have had to foul him. He tried to make the pass, and it got deflected. UConn got the deflection. Kid steps up, drains a half-court three. Duke suddenly is 1 point down with 0.4 seconds left. That's all she wrote. But hey, this is why this tournament is one of a kind. This is why this tournament is always full of twists and turns, and depending on what side of that ledger you're on, like heartbreak or adulation. And for those that were rooting for UConn, I mean, they got a crazy Hail Mary and advanced to the Final Four.
Now, I know the conspiracy theorists are running wild. They're running wild with that one. Because even me, that looked like a no-brainer. You can see did you see the coach's face? He was just so distraught after he just turned around. Oh my goodness. And my bracket was only 95%. What about those people who had 100% into that?
Yeah, I'm not buying the conspiracy theorists. I mean,
well, I never do.
Caden Boozer, he's going to carry this around on his shoulders for the rest of his life. And again, even the Duke coach, what are you going to do? These are 18-year-old kids, man. I mean, I know they're on the spotlight, and they've been born and bred for this. In this case, their dad, a long tenured NBA vet, but I feel bad for the kid, to be honest. I mean,
I do
too. It's the same as Weber calling the timeout and costing the Fab Five. It's unfortunate that these kids get thrust into these high pressure moments, and you got to learn from them, right? And not everybody passes with flying colors. On the flip side, that UConn kid steps into that three and nails it, nothing but net. So, but yeah, it's tough. I mean, listen, for personal reasons, of course, I had Duke winning the tournament. I was not happy, but great game, great, NCAA tournament game, and keep you on the edge of your seat. No lead is safe.
It was juicy.
It was, and it came down to the last second when it looked like for a minute there it was going to be a blowout at halftime, and it wasn't. And that's why you got to keep watching, because you never know what's going to happen come March Madness.
And that's the excitement of the game, the not knowing. And I want to point something out. I picked Michigan Wolverines to win it all. But to those conspiracy theorists out there, in big moments, things happen. And I know it seems like it's a no-brainer, but in big moments, the couch warriors always want to come out and they always have something to say. And some of them haven't even played the game at that level to really understand the pressure and why they call it a pressure cooker when there's big moment games like that. It it's a lot to be said. And if you ever played a sport and even made it to a championship game, not even on that level, it is the same type when you have all your friends and family and people from everywhere watching. It puts something else on the game. So I know it looks a little funky sometimes. I know you want to say this, you want to say that, but hey, it is what it is, and that's sports, and that's why we love it so much.
For sure. That's
So
it's why sports, like, like I've mentioned many times, it's why sports is the ultimate reality TV. You don't know what's going to happen.
yes, sir.
And there are no reruns on sports. And I've seen this outcome before. No, you haven't, because as long as you watch, you'll see something different and the outcome will be different. And um a great game, a sad ending if you're on the Duke side of things.
Man,
Um,
many people were on the Duke side of things.
well, they
Even
were the
in this
number one
year's
overall
bracket.
seed. I mean, they were the number one seed in the
Yeah,
tournament, and
yeah.
they had the game all but won, and they didn't, and that's why you never quit, you never give up, and you keep fighting until there's no fight left in you. And credit to UConn, they did exactly that.
Credit
And
to that kid that hit that three-pointer. Because the reverse side of this is if he would have missed that wide open shot, what he would have been going through
absolutely.
the next game.
Yeah,
But
even though, well, of course, because he had more time, he could have taken another step forward. He
yeah,
didn't have to shoot it from that far back.
yes.
All the things to exactly to your point. If he misses that shot, if he airballs that shot, then it's, what are you doing? Take the step, move up. I mean, you didn't have to heave it from that far. It's just, that's the razor's edge of sports, right? In one moment you can go from hero to
Yep.
goat, and then the other minute
Zero to
you go
hero
hero.
or hero to zero.
Yeah,
Either way.
and that's the flip side of the coin is,
Yes.
he drained it. His moment wasn't too big for him, and he'd stepped into it like he'd done it a million times before, and he drained that shot as if it was nothing. And I listen, it really was a great second half in a game where I would say 90% of America was like, this game is over. Duke's up by 18 or something, I think, at the half, or 15, but they were up by a lot. They had been up as much as 20.
Right.
It just didn't look like UConn had anything for them. Like a lot of UConn's number one stars, they weren't hitting their shots. They were missing, but come crunch time, they made them. It sets up a great Final Four. I mean, you have UConn and Illinois on one side. Sadly, I think you have the best game of the weekend on the other side in Arizona and Michigan, because I think the winner of that game wins the tournament.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, Michigan Wolverines.
Easy. You're not from Michigan. Calm
I
down.
understand, but I picked them.
You
Hey,
did.
from watching it, I just felt it. Just
But
felt it.
Arizona and Michigan are very similar. They both are very big. They can put a lot of size on the floor. I think they can beat you with war of attrition. Subbing in fresh bodies.
Yes.
I look at that game and I say, I really do believe the winner of that game is the winner of the tournament.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On the flip side of this, the women's bracket, our co-host Steve is ranked number one out of what was it, 8 million or 8 or 9 million people. He's
Good
ranked one.
man.
He has the number one bracket going right now.
Good for Steve. And that's been an unpredictable tournament.
Yes.
With some twists and turns there. And again, like, great for the sport. March Madness always delivers. And I hey, hats off to him. That's quite an accomplishment. I hope he takes the whole thing.
I wonder what he was drinking or smoking before he made it.
What color uniforms? I mean, what was his mojo? I mean, has he really been researching that hard? I mean, the inquiry minds want to know.
Hey, I'm wishing him all well because I want to see him pull it out. I
Absolutely.
want to see them fork over this money. Now, the the women's bracket is not worth like the men's bracket.
No,
But
it is not.
yeah,
But
man,
hey,
they slid that one in there. It was
a
funny.
championship belt's a championship belt, man.
Yeah.
Wear it with pride, sir. Wear it with pride if you get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, I know Stevie's gonna have a lot to say about that on Wednesday. You should have seen what he was saying about your Giants in opening day.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't great considering they got
Yeah.
shut out. So
Yeah.
against the Yankees, in fact, they went. We scored 1 run in 3 games, and I'm just going to go out on record and say, if you only score .33 runs a game, you're probably not going to win many games in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, but we'll call that a warm up game. I know they had other warm up games, but the
It's
beginning
early.
things when things can happen, they will.
You can't
And
get too excited in the first 3 games of a 162 game season, but trust me, I wasn't super thrilled. So.
trust me, I know you weren't. I know you weren't. Oh, let's get into something that you know a lot about because
Let's
this is
do it.
right up your alley. That MMA.
It
The
is.
MMA matches over the week.
Yeah, that card was here in Seattle. Phenomenal card, phenomenal crowd.
I'm surprised you didn't go catch up on it. Go watch it live.
Yeah, I was right there in the front row. I will tell you this. So at face value, there were some names on the card, but they were a little older. Card delivered 13 fights, 11 finishes. Extreme violence was in store. Was the recipe of the night. Everybody was going out banging. The crowd was loving it, like Roman Gladiator days. It was very exciting. A couple things I just want to point out. First off, Alexis Grasso versus Macy Barber, not Mackenzie Barber, Macy Barber in the co-main event. Lexi Grasso knocked her out. Probably one of the most violent knockouts, maybe the most violent knockout in the history of knockouts. It was insane. And then to put on the fact that it was in a women's bout at 126 pounds for that kind of power.
And that's the one where she choked her out also, right?
Yeah, she knocked her out and then jumped on her to choke her out because the ref didn't get there in time.
Now, see, Patrick, come on now. I love MMA.
Go ahead.
I used to be into MMA, and I'm gonna tell you, when I went to an instructor, and he demonstrated a move on me in front of the class where he's demonstrating, and he didn't get me into the move. I let him put me in the move so he can instruct me. And this person went too far, where I let him lead me around like a little kid for about 5 minutes, but he went too far with it. And that right there, being a fighter, because I used to fight also.
Mm-hmm.
When the person is not fighting back and they're getting choked out, I look at it as a untrained person, a person that used to get beat on, a person that hasn't had many fights, because somebody is this defenseless. Not when I looked at it again, it wasn't so bad because she punched her and then she jumped right on her.
Well,
but for her not to have let go immediately, it really pissed me off. And I've seen other fights like this where the person can see the person is not there, and they're still punching on somebody who's down.
I'm going to defend Alexis Grasso in this case. She hits her with the left,
right,
and she spins. For those who didn't see it, she hits her with the left, and she spins Macy around, and Macy goes down onto sitting.
Right,
and Alexis pounced on her immediately. She couldn't really see that she was compromised.
I saw that,
and so she jumps in and locks in the rear naked choke. The referee, breaks it up, and she stops. So.
The referee came and she was choking her out. The girl arms wasn't even up to protect herself.
Her arms were flailing, and if you look, I mean, it was a very strange knockout in the sense that there was some weird movement and her eyes were open,
right?
And so, but Alexis couldn't see that, so she just jumped on her back. Referee was, in my opinion, was late. His job is fighter safety. And he needs to stop the fight immediately. He needs to see that Macy's in trouble. She cannot intelligently defend herself. I'm just happy that Alexis decided to jump on her back and try and choke her out. instead of just loading up and rocking 3 or 4 left and right on
I
her.
appreciate that too.
You
But
know, instead
I
of
can see after I watched it, I had to watch it a few times because at first he was gonna get an earful because it had pissed me off because I've seen this before. And I know you've seen it before
I have.
where the person gets knocked out and the guy is hammer fisting him while he's knocked out.
And a lot of that is in my humble opinion, there's fighters that need to hate their opponent to fight, and so they create this hatred, and so they get them down, and they want to keep going. You know, I know it's easy to say, you know, go until the ref stops. I agree with that to a point, but you know, as a fighter too, you know when they're done, and I have a lot more respect
True
for
fighter.
when the guy knocks him out and he looks to the ref like, hey, like
I
you know,
That
hey,
person
this
gets
guy's
my
done.
utmost respect.
You know,
I've seen fighters that the person was still trying to fight him, and he's like, "Come on,
yeah,
ref."
he's all looking at the ref and striking. So, you know, listen, I mean, I could see where, you know, it looked like that. I do think Alexis was right to do what she did. You know, she doesn't know until the ref. And in that particular case, because Macy was spun around,
Yes,
you know,
in that one, like I said,
that was
after
different. She didn't
rewatching
go
it,
face down. She didn't hit the mat face
you're
down.
correct. She didn't know. She
Yeah.
didn't know, so she gets the benefit of the doubt.
And
But I
she's an
just want
extreme
fighters to
sportsman.
be
Her track record too
more
is
more involved with the fight, not blank out like that, you know?
yeah.
And for a fighter, let's say if you do make a mistake like that, that fighter needs to be put in the ring with 4 fighters for a minute penalty.
Well, I think the better way to do
For
it, and I don't
beating
think that,
somebody defenseless?
but I think there's a better way to do it. And I don't think it happens enough. And I think the gaming commission needs to come in and take money. Like if you're gonna pull that crap and you're gonna, you know, you're gonna hit past the ref or any of that stuff, or hit a defenseless fighter, you know, hey, we're gonna take 20% of your purse, and maybe just maybe you'll think twice about doing that.
To a fighter that needs the money, I can see that. But to a champion fighter, to a fighter who has the money, I've seen people in the NFL do stuff and like find me.
Yeah,
So
I think
a defenseless person to me is a different ordeal when one punch can change someone's life. Now, one punch and you're not ready for it, that you're completely out. That's like somebody in the street that's going overboard. You know,
no,
once you handle
I
business,
agree.
you handle business.
I'm racking my brain, and I'm, you know, and I'll have to think about it. Nothing's coming to mind. You don't see a lot of champions doing that, like, you know,
Yeah, true fighters. I will admit.
and
Yeah,
so I'm trying to think. Like, I think you have to go back pretty far, maybe Tito Ortiz days when he would maybe hold the choke a little too long, or you know, after the ref is trying to stop it. But it's pretty rare, and you know, for that level of person. But I do agree, there needs to be some level of like respect and
and
because you know,
discipline when needed.
well, because let's in a two-man or two-woman sport, you very easily could be on the other side of that someday, and you'd want those same rules applied to you. You know,
Exactly.
because and speaking of might be on the other side of that someday is the main event where Israel Adesanya, once a two-division champion, phenomenal fighter. He was knocked out, and that makes 4 in a row for him. On the knockout side, he fought a gentleman by the name of Joe Pfeiffer, and he was the biggest upset on the card, plus 800. And you know, he knocked out Israel Adesanya. If you had Joe Pfeiffer in the second round with a TKO, you could have $100 would have got you back 10 grand. So you know, pretty nice little payday if you bet that. But you know, excellent fight for Joe. He's really on the upswing, and really kind of calls into question what's next for the former champ. 4 fights in a row, losing streak. It might be time to think about other things. I'm just looking at my notes here.
After you get your bell rung so many times, yeah, you need to be thinking about something different.
Well, unfortunately, we've seen this before, right? The more you get knocked out, the easier it becomes for you to be knocked out. You know, you look at Chuck
that chin gets a
Liddell.
little weaker.
Yeah, you know, you can look back and, you know, once you kind of gone down that road. A really interesting fight was Michael Chiesa against Nico Price. Both guys had over 20 fights in the UFC. Both had been longtime veterans, both on their retirement fight. And Chiesa fighting at home. He's a Washington native, went in there and he got the win by submission, which is his trademark. Immediately retired. So that was a nice send off, but it was just a really great fight. And I have to say that so far the UFC on Paramount really doing a great job.
It satisfies.
It's also they've had a lot of good events. They're putting a lot of things in it, and it's if you're a subscriber to the platform, it's free. So and I think that's really something that a lot of fans, myself included, have been kind of clamoring for. It's been a lot of money, when you're running events all the time and you have to have the ESPN subscription and then pay-per-view on top of that. And the old model, it's like you're spending like $90 on an event, 2 events a month. I mean, it starts to get pricey after a while.
Yeah.
And it's I think you price out your fan base. And I think going to, back to Paramount on a subscription basis where, if you subscribe to that format, it's $14.99 a month, I think, or $19.99 a month for the top tier. But you obviously get
a lot of the shows are premium shows.
Absolutely, you got a lot of others. You got a lot of other good stuff on there, and you get the fighting for free. So, and Zuffa Boxing's on there. So I think they're really on the come up. I'm really excited. I think we're coming to the end of March here, so 3 months in to this new arrangement with.
At least that's a feel good package where you don't feel like you're getting done.
No,
because the NFL with that was it Peacock? I feel like you're reaching into my pockets, like you're shaking me around.
The Peacock streaming platform doesn't have a lot more to offer you, right? And that's the one thing that I don't love about the Peacock platform is there's not a lot of other stuff there that makes it enticing for me to have this subscription, other than just wanting to watch the football game. I mean, if you're a big sports fan like myself, the Olympics coverage on there was pretty cool because you could watch whatever event you wanted to watch live. You didn't need to pay, the whatever's being broadcast on your local network. It didn't matter to you. But I'm stretching, I'm reaching. I mean, that's one once every 4-year event. There's just not a lot there. But yeah, so far I give 2 thumbs up, to the UFC for switching the model, the Paramount model. The nice thing is when the card is maybe not the best or maybe a little bit of a dud, you don't feel like, to your point, you don't feel like you just got ripped for $90. You feel like, okay, well, I didn't pay anything extra for it. So, I
get to still watch Mayor of Kingstown. So I'm fine.
There you go. Mayor of Kingstown, Tulsa King.
Oh, man.
There's lots of great shows on there that make it worth the subscription before the UFC even went to Paramount. So UFC going to Paramount for me as a consumer, I was already a subscriber to Paramount Plus. For all the shows Landman we just discussed, and Tulsa King and Mayor of Kingston. This is some great shows. Just to name a few. I can't wait
for Landman to come back.
Yes, come a couple months. It's actually going to be back real soon.
Yes. The season finale was phenomenal.
Excellent TV.
Yes.
So that's the UFC. I mean, we're the clock is ticking. We're about a month out from Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey. They've added a lot of interesting fights on that card.
I can't wait to see what Ronda does coming out.
It's going to be on fire, I can tell you. And Nate Diaz is on that card. You have Francis Ngannou's on that card. There's some guys that are maybe past their prime, maybe a little bit on the washed up side. Francis Ngannou was in the prime of his career. He's fighting. You got some old names like Junior Dos Santos, some up and comers. It's got 13 fights on it, I think. So it should be a good card. Looking forward to it. Free on Netflix. So, but yeah, exciting. So the fight game is always exciting, always happening. But when is I know he has MMA. When is his boxing about to start? Zuffa?
Yeah.
So he's already had 3. He's got one coming up in April. And this one looks like a little bit better of a total card. Some of the cards have been put together maybe weren't complete from soup to nuts. This one looks a little bit better. I'll have to look it up and get back to you next week on who's actually fighting on the card.
Are these boxers ranked?
Yes.
Yes. So are they interchangeable with what's going on already? And he's just holding a card for them under his.
He is, and I think what he's trying to do is offer money and stability to get guys to come over, and then I think eventually you'll see, that'll be the Zuffa belts as opposed to the WBC, WBO, WBA, whatever, So
That
I
needs
think,
to be handled anyway, because remember, when somebody got upset, then they'll make another belt.
well,
When
that's
somebody
why they
gets,
call
then
it
they'll
the
make
alphabet
another
soup,
belt.
right? The
Yeah.
alphabet soup of belts. It's my guess is, if you're looking long term at Dana's vision, I have not spoken to Dana, but my guess is if he's looking at long term, what he's probably trying to do is, pick off some names, get some people under the fold, get some risers, up and comers, create his own belts, and then bring rural equity and in status to that belt, and maybe start to do away with some of the alphabet soup. And I agree with you. I mean, boxing for a long time has been, I don't want to fight that guy. Great, let's make a new, the IBF belt, or the the ABC belt, or the Patrick's belt, or Wayne and Patrick, because we thought it'd be a good idea belt, and
Exactly.
and suddenly that guy, it's
Which
just,
waters it down.
yeah, and it's
What
cheap,
makes
right?
everybody say he avoided this person the whole time, but he's undefeated. So I don't respect. I don't want to hear any of that. If
No,
the whatever federation is running it, if they let it happen, then it can happen. It can happen until they fix it,
for
and it's
sure.
easy to fix it. Just put your foot down and do it right.
And I think that's what you're gonna. I mean, listen. I mean, it's not like Dana doesn't have a proven model to look at. I mean,
Right.
the UFC over the course of these last 25 years has become the top dog, and I feel like he's probably just taking the lessons learned, and he's going to apply it here. And I would bet, if we're sitting here talking in 5 or 10 years, Zuffa Boxing is probably the preeminent boxing organization.
Well, I can't wait to see, because on the flip side of that, I don't like an undefeated boxer fighting somebody who's been beat 4 or 5 times, that has nothing to lose. I would like the money to make sense along with the match.
Yeah,
So uh, both of them get paid, but it needs to be a little more to the winner to get more of an incentive to get
for
more of
sure,
a fight.
for sure, win bonus. But you and I've talked before. I mean, whether you love, hate him, you take a fighter like Oscar De La Hoya, for instance,
Right.
and some people really like him. He wasn't my favorite guy, but what I will say about him, he has my utmost respect, because he went to many different weight classes and sought out guys to fight the best
Yeah.
fight possible, because he wanted to challenge himself and he wanted to make the best fight. Manny Pacquiao, same guy. Guys like that, to me, are the pillars of that sport,
Yeah.
because they want to challenge the best, to prove who is the best, and they're willing to move around in weight classes. They're not, oh, I'm going to let this guy come to me. That guy's too good. I'm going to skip that guy. I mean, it's like, look, I'm not trying to bash Julio Cesar Chavez, but I mean, when you're fighting, and I can't name 5 guys that you fought, and because, yes, it's impressive you're 300-0 or whatever the heck his record was, but okay, name me 5 guys that were in the top 10 at any given time in their career that you fought, and it's just not there. And I know that you and I talked about Roy Jones Jr., and and when he wanted to go chase the heavyweight belt, I mean, he did the same thing. He went after the John Ruiz champ. He didn't go after a Lennox Lewis, or a
Yeah.
Vladdy Vashenko, or any of those
To me,
guys.
he shouldn't even been fighting in that weight class. For him to
No.
beat anybody in the heavyweight, what he should have did was, when he did that, he should have retired like he said he was going to do,
Yes.
and been done.
Yes.
Legacy untainted. When he came back and then tried to fight a fight because they offered him a nice purse,
But
came back too soon. Weight wasn't right. He wasn't even right from losing all the weight. I think he starved himself to get down the weight
probably.
for that fight, and it was just horrible.
But
Just
isn't
horrible.
money? Unfortunately, I think Money Mayweather is kind of on that same track, where he's now fighting in all these exhibitions, and it's
Yeah, because he's trying to protect the record.
well, and he's also, in my humble opinion, he's addicted to the fame, and when he goes out for a year and people aren't really talking about him much anymore, and he's not really the top of anyone's mind. He's like, well, I have to do something, because I can't.
You're
I can't.
forgetting me.
I need the love. I need the love. So
You're
you know,
retired. All
Yeah,
that money, go buy some businesses and don't worry about this. Be a
exactly.
commentator
Be
or
content in you. Be content in you, man.
exactly.
You don't need to go fight Jake Paul or Logan Paul or Mike Tyson. 75-year-old Mike Tyson. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? Let's get serious for a second. You're
Money
making a joke
grab.
of the sport. You're making a joke of the sport.
I don't watch those fights. The
I
last fight
can't. I
that
can't.
Jake Paul, I'm not watching that. People invited me over. They made food like it was a real Mike Tyson. Man, if you guys don't knock it off.
In his contract, he wasn't allowed to swing, right?
When I watched the highlights, I was like, I seen him pull back twice.
He could have ended his night almost at any given time, but he was told not to carry it, and there was
so that he'll get a nice purse.
exactly.
And this is the same thing. Mayweather
That's
is
why it's called an exhibition and not a fight.
welterweight. Is that Mayweather?
Yeah,
And heavyweight. Come on now.
it's a joke. It's a joke.
To me, it's tarnishing a legacy that was great in both
100%.
ways. To me,
100%.
so I see it. Some people like soap operas. I'm just not one of them. Yeah, I let them do the Young and the Restless to themselves, and let them be happy with it.
Real sports has plenty of soap opera if you want to get into it, but I don't need contrived.
Real.
I don't need contrived fights to make me get excited about, Money Floyd Mayweather fighting a Mike Tyson. I mean, is there anyone on planet Earth that doesn't believe 100% that had they fought in their prime, who would win? I mean, it's like, Floyd could run around the ring all day long, and if Mike just breathed on him wrong, he's going out of the ring. I mean, come on, let's just suspend all disbelief.
Mike.
Was there?
A little punch, not even a full
He gives him a jab. He's getting knocked across the ring. I mean, let's just be real for a second. I mean, and that's why for me, when you're doing this stuff, and this is why boxing is where boxing is, in my opinion. It's things like this. It's you're making it a circus. You're making it a joke. It's a spectacle. It's not about the sport, and that is because it's about everything other than the actual event, right? I mean,
the
lead up, the circus around it, and then by the time those two guys get in the ring, everybody's already kind of, lost belief or lost their, now they're just watching to watch, and it's like and that's it is, and that's why for me, like, I've never been a big WWE guy just because it's not real, and for
Stop
me
saying that, Patrick.
I know.
But
it's hard for me. Like,
when I was younger and a kid, we would have been wrestling. Oh man, and you know what reaffirmed it for me was when Mike Tyson had that interview where he beat the interviewer up, where he really got sued because he really was popping the guy around.
Yeah.
I was like, I told you guys it was real. I told you.
Listen, I'm happy that people enjoy it. I'm happy that people get the opportunity to watch it. It's because if that's their deal, that's awesome. But don't make the sport of boxing into that. Like, let's not do that. Like, there's plenty of real boxers that really want to fight and prove that they're the best.
And that's why boxing needs to be fixed. And hoping Dana White can shed some light on it, which shedding a little light sometimes seems to get people back into what they should have been in the first place. Sometimes it takes them hitting the wall hard for them to understand, get it together. Nobody wants to see this. And nobody wants to see Iron Mike chase Mayweather around in the ring. But hey, that's just one man's opinion.
Two man's opinions, because I'm with
you. Thank you. Double down on it. But thank you guys for tuning in. And be sure to watch Blow the Whistle Sports Wednesday for more updates in sports. We coming at you guys every Mondays and Wednesdays now, 7 p.m. We'll see y'all next week. Pat, you got anything to say before we get up out of here?
No, man. As always, thanks for having me. It's always a thrill and enjoy to talk a little sports. And even when the Duke team lost and I have to, get my nose rubbed in it,
He brought it back up.
It's always a pleasure.
It hurts still. It hurts. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, buddy.